Welcome back to Movies TV Man. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Man, and welcome to Tuesday's edition of the Doctor Who Daily. Longevity can be a problem for Doctor Who, any movie franchise, or any television series. There's multiple examples out there when television shows and movie franchises become bad impressions of themselves. I believe it's happening with the MCU. A great example from my youth was the Dallas television show. It had, 5, 6, maybe 7 great seasons. Then, because of their popularity and because of their arrogance, when Patrick Duffy, aka Bobby Ewing, wanted to leave and demanded he be killed off, they stupidly listened to him, but then they brought him back a year later and they had a problem. So they brought him back and they said the whole previous season was a dream. And we didn't have Twitter back then, but the papers did the job for us because it killed the show. Absolutely killed the show. It was a mistake. And every movie franchise and every television series has that moment. And the Doctor Who revival, by the way, has quite a few of those moments. But it goes beyond the revival. Even in the Doctor Who movie, I've discussed this many times on this channel and on this programme, that the Doctor being half human on his mother's side didn't sit well with Doctor Who fans. Heaven Sent is a celebrated episode. Heaven Sent is a celebrated episode. Then he gives us Hell Ben, which makes no fucking sense whatsoever. So, you know, all these shows have the kind of Pam being in a dream for a year. And, you know, the Doctor Who revival has done it. But it doesn't stop at Hell Ben. And then we go to what? And then we go to season 9 again, when there's this long arc with Maisie Williams' character, and we're getting all this kind of, what is it? Is it the Doctor? Is it that? You know, you didn't just leave, Doctor, because you wanted to explore the universe. There was another reason you were running away. Call me fucking intrigued, right? And then it's nothing. It's an empty box. That's what Mystery Box is, unfortunately. But it doesn't end there for Doctor Who, because, I mean, Stephen Moffat, bless him, did try and create an interesting, intriguing, immersive experience for Doctor Who fans. And a lot of the times that worked. But it wasn't a consistent era of Doctor Who. Because as great as some of it was, I mean, like A Christmas Carol, I find that a beautiful, immersive experience. It's poetic. I love it. And it's just a great thing to chill out to after your Christmas dinner. That's one of the main reasons I missed the Christmas Day specials. But there are other things he did that simply didn't work. When you're a fan of something you work on, you think you're going to be clever, you think you're going to skew the narrative, twist the narrative, you're going to do something that no one's ever seen before and everyone's going to love you for it, and you're the orchestrator of a new evolution of Doctor Who. Sorry, wrong guess, try again. You know, but when you don't stick to, if you don't stick to the basics in life, you get yourself in trouble, because no one's good enough to get away with that. I would imagine even Russell T Davies isn't good enough to get away with it. And he's good, man. He's very good. But, you know, Russell T Davies is a clever writer, a clever showrunner. He came in and he said, I'm going to make Doctor Who a mainstream show. Because it was never really a mainstream show. Let's be clear about this in classic Who. I mean, the first episode was watched by so many people. People were intrigued by it. But very quickly, the mainstream audience went away from it. But Russell T Davies came in with an ambition to bring Doctor Who kicking and screaming for a mainstream audience into the 21st century. And the man achieved it. In Billy Piper, he gave us the girl next door, basically, right? The crush of our youths. He was clever with how he did it. It was bright. It was very Marvel Cinematic Universe, but with a bit more depth. And it worked because Russell is certainly a better storyteller than Kevin Feige. There's no question about that. But Feige's clever into hooking you in and making you having to watch all these films because it's part of a connective universe. It's smart, right? Even if you're watching a shitty Ant-Man film, you know you're going to watch it for the post-credit scene. It's clever, right? But Russell T Davies created something so fun on a Saturday night to watch. And there were dark episodes of his Doctor Who as well. But there was no long, drawn-out arcs that really got in the way of the individual random police box travel episodes. It worked. The episode in Pompeii It worked, and it's a history lesson as well. That's what Doctor Who started to be. And I know Chibnall attempted to do it, but he did it in such a dour, unentertaining way. So you can throw that at me, but it simply doesn't work. It doesn't appeal to young people, because young people today want to be dazzled. They want to smile. They want to laugh. And Chibnall's Doctor Who is far too serious. And even when he tries to do gags, it's not in his comfort area, and it just comes across orcs, you know, as far as I'm concerned. But Russell T Davies is a writer of variety. As I said yesterday, he understands human nature. So that's what we're discussing today on today's Doctor Who Daily, that how something could become a parody of itself if you're not careful. And that's what's happened with Doctor Who now. Someone joked yesterday, and I forgot the YouTuber, Pretty Elite, he's got a big following, but he was laughing. He had the list of all the characters in Doctor Who Flux, and he says they're all the Doctor. And I mean, I wouldn't put it past Chibnall to say we are all the Doctor, something shit like that. It's him, you know. So look, what I've also not noticed by Chibnall, and I don't want this to be a Chibnall bashing session, but unfortunately that can't be helped at times, he just seems to be ripping off from Moffat, and especially Davies, especially with the Fog Watch and things like that. He's using things that have already been put in there. He has very little originality about him. The idea of Division just seems stolen from the Loki streaming series on Disney+. The idea of Tae-Yoon and the Doctor, as I said yesterday, sounds like, you know, the Tangled movie with Rapunzel and her evil stepmother. I forgot what the villain's called. But it's all ripped off. There's no originality there. And I think one of the things that excited me, because I was one of the few people who was excited and intrigued in this new direction. Hang on, the Doctor's the timeless child. She's had other incarnations and adventures we've never seen before. Well, that's interesting. That'd be a good spin-off, right? I'd like to find out more about this. But I think the reason most people are worried about the finale is because this just seems rather messy now, doesn't it? And this is not about me trying to be, you know, put out anti-propaganda for Chibnall. It's just, the man, it's interesting because we always thought he was a very good writer. But Doctor Who has found him lacking in a lot of ways. The laziness, the bone idleness in not developing his characters as well. Very, very problematic. So I think the Doctor Who revival in a whole, really since the Moffat era, has become, you know, a bad impression of itself, a parody of itself. And that's why Russell T Davies found no kind of struggle from the BBC when he suggested to them that he and his and Jane Tranter's and Julie Gardner's Bad Wolf production company should take total creative control of Doctor Who, because they're lost. They're lost. The money isn't there anymore. The interest isn't there. And I mean, I'm not going to be one of those telling you the ratings for Doctor Who Chibnall and Doctor Who Moffat are shit, because they're not. They're all solid kind of ratings. You can call them solid. I mean, even Doctor Who Flux is done okay for modern day terms. It's one of the top 6 watch shows, which is cool. But Doctor Who used to be #1. Doctor Who used to win television awards every year under Russell T Davies. And this is the ambition we have for it again. Now we know that Russell's coming back. And this is not where we are now. This is not one of the best versions of the Doctor Who revival. It's not one of the most popular. It's, you know, and when you, as I say, when you do an event series as well, you can't judge the episodes. You can only judge the whole piece. So it's difficult. But I've tried to watch what we've got from Flux. So far, you still can't judge the episodes, and you can't even judge it as a whole. It's just a bunch of stuff that's been vomited on a page and on the screen, as far as I'm concerned. He's just chucking stuff. And I know, right, that he doesn't like to reveal a lot of stuff pre the audience watching the episode. But Chris, it's all right to reveal some things during the episodes. But he's revealed very little. As I say, there's no character development for the Ravagers. He hasn't turned them into interesting characters. You know, the male version of the Ravagers just snarls a bit and says, yes, Doctor, we used to know each other, yes, and now it's your turn, Doctor. There's nothing there. There's no depth there. There's no nuance there. With Bell, Vinder's just like a substitute. Ain't he? You know, he's like Van der Beek. He's like VDB at United when Solskjaer was our manager. He's just been benched, right? Vinder's there, but he hasn't got much of an importance. And I know there's going to be some kind of twist to what Bell and Vinder mean to the Doctor. It's obvious. I don't know who they're going to be, but it's interesting. You know, also, but this is an interesting one because we never met the Doctor's, basically Susan was the Doctor's granddaughter, so obviously either his daughter gave birth to Susan or his son was Susan's father. So maybe, this is an interesting one, and this is one no one's fault, and I know we always bring kind of Susan into these conspiracy theories, and before I sign off today, this is one of my theories. This video is all over the place, isn't it? But never mind, we have to go back to current Doctor Who, but think about this. What if Vinder and Bell are the parents of the Doctor's child who basically either gave birth to Susan or is Susan's father? So basically this could be an interesting origin story. But think about this. What if Susan is the timeless child? Doesn't really make sense, does it? How can Susan be the timeless child? How can Susan be the one who created Time Lord Society? Well, it may be a bit skew-whiff. Things may happen differently on Time Lord Society. And even though that might seem a little thin of a theory, I still think Bell and Vinder could be Susan's parents. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. This has been the Doctor Who Daily. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Please hit the notification bell so you never miss this perfection. And I'll see you again tomorrow with even more Doctor Who Daily. Until then, goodbye.